Ford versus Tesla, the 300 billion war of your driveway. The garage wars have begun. In one corner, the legendary giant that put the world on wheels. In the other, the Silicon Valley disruptor that rewrote the laws of physics. Ford versus Tesla isn't just a battle of cars. It's a collision of two worlds, two visions, and the future of every road on earth. Today, we are peeling back the hood on the rivalry that will change how you travel forever. Welcome to USA Trends and More. So, let's begin with a new journey, especially for Ford versus Tesla rivals. Start the journey. The Titan versus the Innovator. The automotive landscape is undergoing its most profound transformation in a century, and at the heart of this revolution sits a clash of titans, Ford and Tesla. Ford, the legacy giant that defined the 20th century with the Model T, represents the institutional might of traditional manufacturing. It carries the weight of a massive global infrastructure, a vast network of dealerships, and a deep seated culture of building reliable mass market workhorse. In contrast, Tesla stands as the quintessential disruptor, a Silicon Valley juggernaut, and the prioritized software, electrification, and autonomy from its very inception. This is not merely a competition over vehicle sales, it is a battle for the soul of transportation. While Ford leverages its century of experience to scale production and retain a massive, loyal customer base, Tesla challenges the very definition of a car, viewing it as a mobile computer. As we move deeper into 2026, the question is no longer who sells more units, but who is better positioned to define the mobility paradigm for the next generation. The tension between these two philosophies creates the primary friction point for the entire global car industry. The legacy advantage. Ford's greatest strength lies in its profound industrial maturity and deep rooted manufacturing excellence. With decades of operational knowledge, the company understands the complexities of global supply chains and assembly line optimization better than almost anyone else. By electrifying iconic brands like the F 150 and the Mustang, Ford has successfully bridged the gap for millions of consumers who were hesitant to jump into the unknown world of EVs. Their dealership network provides a tangible physical presence that builds trust, a human element that Tesla's direct to consumer model often struggles to replicate in rural or suburban markets. Ford's strategy is built on stability. They are not trying to revolutionize the planet overnight, but rather to transition their massive fleet of customers into a new era without losing the reliability that made them a household name. This approach appeals to the mainstream buyer who values heritage and accessible service. As Ford ramps up its production of affordable electronic vehicles, it leverages its existing highly efficient manufacturing footprint to undercut newer competitors, providing and proving that a legacy company can indeed pivot with purpose and scale when it matters most. The Tesla philosophy. Tesla has never operated like a traditional car company, and that remains its most potent weapon. By creating the vehicle as a platform for software updates, Tesla has created an ecosystem where the car actually improves over time, long after it leaves the assembly line. This take first mentality has allowed them to capture the imagination of a generation that views their phone as the center of their digital life. Tesla's focus on vertical integration, from building their own battery cells to developing proprietary self-driving chips, gives them a level of control that most automakers can only dream of. Elon Musk's vision transcends the vehicle itself. It encompasses energy storage, artificial intelligence, and the inevitable shift toward an autonomous, robotaxi driven world. For Tesla, the physical car is almost secondary to the intelligence driving it. The relentless pursuit of innovation forces the rest of the industry to scramble, constantly pursuing of the boundaries of what is possible in terms of range, efficiency, and computational power. It is a philosophy that demands consistent evolution and constant evolution, making Tesla the benchmark that every legacy automaker is forced to chase in the high stakes arena of modern mobility. The battle of the bottom line. The financial divide between Ford and Tesla provides a fascinating look at how different investors and consumers view the future. Ford consistently generates massive revenue by selling trucks, commercial vans, and high margin combustion vehicles, providing the capital necessary to fund their expensive pivot to electric platforms. However, this transition is costly, and Ford has forced significant pressure to turn its Model E EV segment profitable by 2029. Meanwhile, Tesla's valuation has historically been driven by growth projections and its potential as an AI and robotics leader rather than just an automaker. This creates a divergence. Ford is fighting to maintain margins while scaling hardware, while Tesla is battling that its software driven revenue, like its autonomous ride hailing subscriptions, with eventually render hardware margins less relevant. This financial struggle is a tug of war between the tangible profits of today and the speculative high growth promises of tomorrow. As both companies navigate market fluctuations, the pressure to prove that their respective business models can sustain long term growth in an increasingly crowded EV market has never been more intense or more consequential for the automotive sector. Autonomous ambitions. Autonomy is the final frontier in this industrial war. Tesla's aggressive pursuit of full self driving, that means FSD, and its ambition to deploy a dedicated robotaxi network represent a fundamental threat to the traditional car ownership model. If Tesla succeeds in perfecting driverless technology, the entire value proposition of buying a vehicle changes. Transportation becomes a utility rather than an asset. Ford, having realized the shift, has spent years investing in its own autonomous driving technologies and digital services. They understand that if they don't lead in this space, they risk becoming a mere hardware supplier for the software giants of the future. The competition here is fierce, with both companies pouring billions into AI, sensor suites, and mapping data. Tesla believes it is already ahead due to the millions of miles of real world data its fleet collects daily, while Ford is taking a more measured, safety centric approach, leveraging its expertise in commercial logistics to find early applications for autonomy. This race for the driverless future is perhaps the most significant strategic maneuver in the entire industry, dictating which company will lead the next century of transit.